All right. Let's see. Do a little refresh and see if we're live. It says we are. Yeah. All right. Let me welcome people real quick. Haven't done an AMA in a minute, so forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I have not done an AMA in quite some time. All right, Mr. Shugu. There's Toya with my apple. Woody Mac, Mike MC, Angry Man rebuttal. No, I haven't even listened to Angry Man, so there's no rebuttal. Charles, Joe's, Pragmatic Prime, Talaya. I think that's how you pronounce that. Romello, Parted Sea, infamous Mr. Bloody. I'm not even. I don't even want to know what that means. Johnny Vegas. Hey, what up, Johnny V? Mr. H, Passport OG. What's up? Hoping you making some money. Prince, what's up? Alon, okay, live from the Telegram. Okay. Tampa Supreme, ain't seen you in a minute, Tampa. AL, what's up? Savant, what's up? Ryan, what's up? Haru, what's up? Gigi, what's up? The Parted Sea, what's up? T Hagen, Will Smith, and see who else we got. Designated Art, and I think that's it. Okay, all right. Uh, Basically, this is really what it is, man. It's just um, you keep hearing about people coming at you about, oh, the space is this, the space is that, and the black manosphere is not doing what it's supposed to do, and the black manosphere is going down the tubes, all kinds. It's getting taken over by women. It's getting taken over by simps. It's being run by right wing. It's been run by left wing. It's been it's run by liberals. All kind of crap. You know that so-called space, which is space, is not an enclosed thing. You know, it's not a club. So come they call it a space, a sphere, right? It encompasses a whole bunch of different little things, right? Just the planet Earth has a whole bunch of different type of people, animals, and plants. It's not one thing. Never is. And people have been people were complaining about this before I got here. I didn't get here till like 2015, 2014. I was a MGTOW. 2013, 2014, I was over on the MGTOW side, which is the white boy side. I didn't come over here to 2015, and they were complaining about it then. Okay, it's always going to collapse. The women are going to come attack it and take it down. And YouTube is going to take it off the air. Went through the 2016 ad apocalypse where they snatch money from people and snatch people's channels and stuff like, oh, the space, the space, the space, the space, the space, right? Okay, 7 years later, oh, the space, the space, the space, the space, the space. Oh, Kevin Samuels is going to ruin the space. The white men are going to come take over. The mainstream media is going to come in and shut us down. The space, the space, the space, the space, the space, right? Basically, let me go ahead and say, you motherfuckers don't know exactly what the fuck you're talking about, because everything that 2.0 was supposed to do, it did, and it did it in spades, okay? In fucking spades. In fact, I've talked to several people and I asked them, is it back in 2016, 2017, even 2018, you Negroes did not think that this space, this black manosphere, this bastard child of the manosphere was going to succeed, did you? Did you? And they all said no. But in retrospect, we should have done this. We should have had a council. We should have this. See, the reason you have all that, you could have had all that when it was small. In fact, they tried to get a council back in 2015, 2016. So basically, people wanted to make that keep their own little fiefdom, make their own little coins, and they couldn't work together. So how come you didn't have it? Because Valdez and O'Shea and even Obsidian talked about a commission, but nobody wanted to get together and do it. That's because we don't have one. It's not a club. Half 90% of the people that come through, we have no idea who they are, what they do, where they live. I would say 95% of the people are not even visible. 95% of the people don't even come up and show their names. Okay, you don't know who they are. So how are you going to regulate something that's open like this? It's not your closed platform. You don't have a door. But the reason that nobody took it seriously, actually do put restrictors in, is because they didn't think it would succeed. But the thing is, now all of a sudden it has. It's mainstream. It's popular, and people are talking about it. Like a friend of mine, right? It was just one of my subs, right? Was last night on Arts Panel, right? He's coming back from Uganda. He's in an Uber. No, he's on a he's actually on an Uber with a chick, right? Not waiting for Uber, right? A chick rolls up on him and says, "You must be one of those passport bros." That's how this space, which passport bros are part of, has become so mainstream to where the average person on the street knows who you are or knows what it is. There's people on the street that have recognized Obsidian. Kevin could not walk through Atlanta by himself because the paparazzi would follow him because they knew his face. Same thing with MTR. Same thing with all the other people whose faces have blown up. The space is just fine. Richard Reeves from the Brookings Institute just sat down with Rollo Tomasi, which is the white manosphere. Just sat down with him. The Brookings Institute. That means you have power. That's power that you 10 years ago, I can tell you, 2013, when I first got here, the manosphere had zero power, had only a few thousand people that were actually attributed to it. And this is the white manosphere, a few thousand people attributed to it, and zero power. Zero power. In fact, you're the laughing stock of YouTube. Now you have Brookings Institute sitting down with people. Okay, you have Andrew Tate in jail because of the manosphere and the black manosphere. You have kids waving their passports in half times at basketball games because of the black manosphere. You have power now. Okay, so to say that the space is a failure is bullshit. It's bullshit. It's succeeded way beyond anybody's wildest dream, which is why they're mad, because it's not doing what they think it should do. Because it's not doing what they think it should do. Well, it's not successful. All these little nitpicks. Well, you ain't got no bills over in Congress, motherfucker. You didn't think you'd be popular enough to even get the attention of any senators or anybody from the power structure. Shut up. Sit down and shut up. Because if you had your way, it wouldn't be here. It still be just in this little bitty corner. You guys hide. Oh, we can't expand because the white man will come down and destroy the little black manosphere. We can't do that. No, we can't talk against some women's. We still got people talk about we need to move in silence. Don't piss off the women. I say fuck that stuff. It needs to spread. I said that last night. Fuck that. It needs to spread. When Aston Holloman got in trouble and it went global, I told brother, just pack up your shit, go to Thailand. We'll take care of you. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of you. We got you. Let it spread. Don't silence your voice. Don't go and hide. Fuck that. Challenge these chicks. They need to be challenged because if you don't, they're gonna follow you all over the planet trying to ruin your shit. They trying it now. They tried to clap on the Filipinos and Thai to the Thai women. Guess what? Them women clap back. Now they can't handle it. They try to call you sex traffickers and trickers. And guess what happened? Now all them brothers come up with their tapes. Okay, here, this is what they've been doing. Okay, this is what they've been doing. They've been doing this filmed on rafts. Okay, they've been having sex with the yardies for years. And here's the proof. They have glory holes. Okay, glory hole sex, but they're trying to keep it secret. They're the biggest tricks. The men aren't even close to what the women are doing. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, now it's tit for tat. Now that the women are getting their ass handed to 'em, now people want to come in and play Captain Save-A-Ho. Fuck that. I told him at the time, stop being scared of your motherfucking women. Oh man, you gonna blow up our spot. Stop being scared of your goddamn one. Stand up to them. If it blows up your spot, it blows up your spot. Some people gonna have to be sacrificed. Okay, it is what it is. Everybody ain't gonna make it. Just like when you're on the block, hey, somebody gonna get their ass whipped. It is what it is. And sometimes you might have to get your ass whipped. The thing is, you got to make a stand. If you in the hood, whether you get your ass whipped or not, okay, at some point you're gonna have to stop running. And now that we have, the thing is, with black men are afraid of power. That's what it is, because they never had it. They never had this attention. Now they go, "Well, we need the women to come back to the table so they horse trade with their men." Now they're back at the table. Okay, what you think they were gonna change? Okay, you thought they were gonna come in with the with cooked meals, a plate, and blowjobs? They come in just like they've been coming in. The thing is, now I said, when they come back to the table as they are, what are you gonna say to them? What are you gonna ask for? Niggas don't even know what to ask for. But at least with the password bros, you see a different group of women and how they should act. Now you know what to ask for. Now you have specific demands and specific examples of how women are supposed to act towards you. In fact, I actually said it in one of my videos, right? The biggest change that black men have found out when they went overseas is that women are actually nice to them, because your women aren't. Because you thought that snarkiness and that disrespect, that contempt was love. That's what you thought it was. And that's what you took it as. Oh, that's just the way women are. All women are all the same. They're all snarky. They're all disrespectful. They're all uncooperative, and they all have contempt in their heart for you. You go overseas, find out that's not true. That's not true, and they've come out and said that's not true. You know, because your women says it's slavery, you believe it, that you ain't supposed to ask for nothing. And now it comes in, now that you go overseas and they have videotape examples that you don't have to ask for anything, that the cooperation is cooperation. You get that because it's built into the women. Me and Sergeant Willie Pete did a whole year arguing over this shit. That you need $100,000 to buy submission. You need $100,000 to buy cooperation. You need to be, you have the 666. Otherwise, you don't deserve cooperation. You go overseas as soon as you land, right? You go out amongst the women, they pushing women towards you, cooperative, submissive women towards you that are not fours, okay? That are six and above. And you're wondering, like, wait a minute, I've been lied to. Oh, she not giving me no snark. She not calling me no names. She not bad mouthing me. She not talking me down. She not asking for 100K. She's asking for a decent guy. She's not asking for a $200 dinner. She's asking for a $20 pizza date. And she's good with it, and she's happy to be with you, which is something black men en masse have never experienced. A woman being nice to them. Because no women that most black men, their whole experience with all their women, their mother, their sisters, their aunties, their grandmother, okay, they've never been nice to them. They've never been cooperative with them. You've never seen it. The Cosby Show with the with the Cosbys, right? The Cosby wife, who we hold in high esteem like the perfect woman, right? She wasn't nice to Cliff. She always had something to say about Cliff, or say to Cliff, especially when Cliff didn't do what she wanted. That's what we're used to. Michelle Obama is married to the goddamn president. What nice thing did she have to say? Have you ever heard Michelle Obama say something nice about Barack? Ever? ever, ever. And the white women used to get on. Hey, you married to the goddamn president of the United States. You can't talk to about him like that. And she go, hmm. Still to this day, what nice thing has she ever said about Barack? So I don't know where the fuck that you get that we don't have a valid point. And that's what they're getting mad about. We don't have a valid point because first thing they say, what is the first thing they say about the passport bros, right? Or they say about black men in general. You're dusty, you're lazy, you're no good, you don't protect, you're weak, all this kind of stuff. And no woman on the planet is going to want you. As soon as you cross the border, you get outside of the United States, you find out that's not true. Gets outside the black matrix, find out that's not true. And they still say, well, she only wants you because of your money. Well, you said I needed to have 100K for you to like me. I ain't even making 50. I make 30. She's happy with that. In fact, I'm not even making 30. I'm making 20. And she's happy with that. Now what? And her mama has trained her to be that way. Now what? But all of a sudden, here comes the naysayers. Oh, well, you got to do this. You got to do that. You got to keep your masculine frame, and you can't be corny. You got to take forcefully, like the woman said, forcefully take from that woman what you want and make her what you want. You got to change the men. No, God damn it, you got to find women that are actually what you want. You're buying it anyway, right? She's not paying for you. You're buying it anyway. Why would you pay for a 1973 Pinto and pay full price, or pay Mercedes price for a Pinto when you go down the street to the next lot and guess what? Buy the Mercedes at half off. No brainer. No brainer. Free, like Black Lions say, free trade in the dating market, baby. That's right. That's right. It's called globalization. Free trade, free trade the dating market, right? Instead of this protected, no, these black women would charge a tariff if they could. In fact, they should go ahead and charge us a tariff and shut the fuck up. Hey, give me a 5% tariff, and if you get a foreign bitch, we pay it and pay the tariff and keep stepping. And keep stepping. I'm gonna open it up in a minute, especially for people that got some other kind of opinions. Because you're gonna have to show me proof. Because as far as I'm concerned, everything that I asked for out of the black manosphere, okay, everything I asked for out of the black manosphere, we got it and then some, and then some. He ain't never gonna go mainstream. Ain't nobody ever gonna know about this stuff. All you guys doing is talking to each other, and nobody else knows about it. And you guys are too dusty because nobody wants to listen to you. They're listening to us now. Where you think the Ice Cube effect came from? It didn't come from Ice Cube. It came from us. Because guess what we said? We not having it. If you can't give us nothing, you can't respect us. You can't give us something for our vote. Guess what? We're not. We're not gonna vote for you. We're not even gonna go. That's where it came from. Well, the passports, bros, is only this little bitty thing. It don't mean nothing, and y'all just making all this noise. No, you got teenagers in high school waving their passports. That means something. It ain't never happened before. In fact, it's the passport office is bogged down because there's so many people looking for it. White boys are jumping on board. That's how good it is. Okay, that's how popular it is. That's because of the black manosphere and what's going on. We're ahead of the wave. We always were. And this is the spillover. There's more stuff coming because this is global. This is not just a localized thing. We didn't, we were riding on the wave. Okay, we didn't cause the wave. Okay, that wave is bigger than just us. But guess what? We're out in front of it, and they try to lie to us that it doesn't mean anything. Bullshit. Why we're in front of this wave, we need to get what we can get what we need while the wave is there. Because when the tide goes out, guess what's going to happen? We're not going to get shit. We're going to be back where we were. So don't let them fool you. Don't let them trick you. Don't let them say, "Oh, you need to move in silence because the women's and the white men's is gonna do stuff to stop you." So the fuck what? They do something to stop you anyway, whether you were out front or not. If you can't do it now, if you can't speak up and do it now and move now, you will never be able to do it. Stop trying to make women make you afraid. Them women's ain't gonna want you. So the fuck what? Okay. All they gonna want is your money. Yeah, but it's 90% off, bitch. So the 2,000, the $200,000 would have had to have for you. All I need is 20 for her. I'll buy her at 90% off. Okay, 10%, 10 cents on the dollar. I'll buy her for 10% on the dollar rather than buy you for double. Okay, I get more cooperation and more pleasure and more joy out of tricking with her than I be in a relationship with you. While you telling me how dusty I am, and how I ain't shit. At least you gonna speak kind words to me, okay? I can't pay you to speak kindly to me. Anyway, I'm gonna drop the link. Yeah, a tsunami. Well, yeah, the women actually caused all this, but good. Passport bros are making a whole bunch of money. That's why I told you why they yak in their mouth, use them, flip that shit, and make money because they're mad because we flipped it. All that disrespect and all that yakking that they say that they don't do, all of a sudden it came out and people are actually showing it night after night after night on TikTok. Same shit. You even got black women saying that they submit to the slave master. Okay, that's coming too. Okay, black women saying, "Well, we don't. Y'all slaves. We submit to the slave master." We said we knew that years ago, 200 years ago. We knew that you was in his bed. You have his kids, but you don't say nothing. You have his kids, and you bring them back to the black neighborhood and call them black, and then blame us for it. They go into the black pool. You don't blame the white boy for giving you that baby. Blame the black man. You throw them all into the pile. That's what they call flat blackness. You're responsible for him because you ain't no good. Even though we didn't sire that baby. You have 1.5, 1.8 million babies born sired by white and Latinos that are not attributed to black men. Black women have more kids than black men have. How you think that happens? It's impossible. Somebody else has to be doing. In fact, Latino and white men have more babies, sire more babies than their women actually have. How do you think that happens? Somewhere the math ain't mathing, is it? And I pointed out women get mad, but they ain't got no answer. Well, we got to look deeper. Well, bitch, look deeper. Well, it must be something else. Well, you haven't looked. I don't have to look. You have to prove me wrong. You look. I don't have to prove shit to you. In fact, at my last video, I said, we ain't got nothing to prove to these bitches, man. Nothing. Nothing. 20 years of fighting this motherfucker, fighting the white man, and fighting this racist system, and keeping you alive with our bodies, and we can't give no respect. Fuck you. We don't owe you shit. You don't like us, you don't respect us, fine. Kick rocks. Go have that white man that doesn't want you. Go have him take you. Or that Latino man that doesn't want you. Go have him take you. Because you want him anyway. Ain't got nothing to prove. After 300 years, we ain't got shit to prove to you. That's why I call the black family a survival unit. It wasn't a family; it was actually a survival unit. We actually socialize, actually be stepfathers to actually keep this family, the family and the society going. We did that. Okay, even into the crack era, I was one of those guys. Right, you take a chick that didn't have any boyfriend, okay, or father because he gone to jail or he got killed, right? She got two kids, right? You take her into your household. I was one of those guys. But you can't get no respect from the goddamn boomers that took advantage of that shit. Y'all wasn't shit. Y'all didn't do nothing. Fuck you then. Go find that white man to actually do something for you. Anyway, let me drop this link, man. I'm tired of hearing this shit. Tired of hearing it, man. The thing is, if we weren't doing anything, it wasn't any kind of movement or success or something like that, I could understand it, man. I could understand it. The thing is, what are you doing? You're just talking. You have to. I was telling you, you have to till the soil. You got to get the soil ready for seeds to grow. You got to till the soil for young guys like the Z's to actually come up and actually grow. Okay, you got to clear. You got to clear the land. But you have to convince people to actually clear your land. We got people like Dr. Thunder actually out here clearing the land for people. What's up, Charles? All right. Y'all up?
Yo, what up?
Talk your shit, old man, please. Woo!
Salute.
It
Salute.
gives me substance, nigga.
Man, I'm tired of this shit,
I'm
man.
gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you one thing about when I took this position as a sergeant,
Uh-huh.
and I met these single women who are like 27, 31,
Yes.
39.
Yeah.
One chick had the audacity to say, because she looked sad, I said, "Hey, if you ain't doing nothing this weekend, come out with me and my people, getting some food and some drinks."
Yeah.
She's like, "I don't know, I don't do anything." So she tells the Padawan,
Uh-huh.
which is basically my godson. And I taught him and my actual son two things. You milk a person for information. He's like, he looks crazy and he's weird. And he asked him, what made him weird? Because he asked me to come out. Was he being nice? Yeah, that was made him weird. You know what I told her the next day? And she
Uh-huh.
get on my legacy as being a wrestler competitor and a coach. He was
Uh-huh.
like, wait a minute. This guy actually coached me to a championship. This guy is a war
Nice
hero.
sometimes you got your camera on, man.
This She was like, this guy is a war hero.
Hmm.
This guy was a damn good cop. What can you do again? What have you done in your life that equals anything close to him? Like he asked her this question: What 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 consequence are you to him? So you know what I said? I said I'm gonna talk to her. I went to the next day and I said, hey, how you doing? How you doing, love? I'm doing fine. I said, I want you to deliver a message, right? I want you to tell the people who think I'm weird and I look crazy, give them this message. What's that? Fuck you.
Mm. Wow.
And walked off. And you know what happened? When I told a chick who works at another place inside the market,
Uh-huh.
who was 1,000 times better looking, you know what she said? A
What?
lot of these bitches need to get off their high horse and see a winning lottery ticket when they see one.
They don't know, man. They're not. They're low class, and they don't know it. You
She said,
outside of their
she,
class.
she said that.
Yeah.
She said, she said, I wish a man like you would hit on me. I said, baby, it's coming. And so will you. But anyway,
Mm.
the problem is with a lot of these chicks. I don't fight wars. When you're the god of war, you don't have to fight war because you already know the fucking battle's already won. See, when it happens to these black chicks, you're lonely. You're single. You know why? Because you're unfulfilled and you're miserable bunch of bitches. That's why. You know why you're miserable? Because you wasted all your years being a cum dumpster. I'm gonna say it since we're being raw. I'm
Hmm.
gonna say it. They wasted their years being a cum dumpster, and then you see what the hell happens. You're unfulfilled. Women give men inspiration. Men give women purpose. You never found a man that gave you purpose.
It's. I mean,
That's
the thing is, why would she call you weird? That's well, be question about it. Why would she call you weird? What's
because
normal to her? What's normal
because
to her?
what's normal to her is probably
Hmm.
some nigga who would just tell her, "Hey, bitch, I'm trying to fuck."
Okay.
And
All right.
I wasn't even hitting on her as in a date because bitch, you could go Dutch for all I fucking care. Matter of fact, you could pay for me too. I just said, "Hey, come on out." Because I'm not dating you. A date is me and you together. And it's established. I'm just saying, me and my people's going, fuck you, because the other chicks in the place said, hey, I'd take you over any goddamn thing here. See,
But that'll be the same sister saying that men don't approach anymore.
you know why? Because her face looked like Benjamin J. Grimm, aka the Thing from the Fantastic Four.
Okay. Well.
They so stone face, and they got how can you rest in a bitch face? You got to understand this thing that I tell people. I got my philosophy and bitchism. by the way. Shout out. I got my other PhD in bitchism. See, you gotta understand why they are so miserable. You know why? Because they never had a true victory. Think about this. I had a debt that was $7,000 that I had to pay. And you know what the counselor said to me? Sir, you're a war vet. Meaning what, ma'am? She typed up shit in less than 2 minutes. This organization will pay that shit off for you clear.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what else I got? I got one of the best corporate security management schools, executive protection. And the VA said, we're going to pay $25,000 and pay you to go.
Okay.
And the job that I'm at now are also going.
You're working, Charles. All right. Somebody else jump in? Charles is.
Yeah,
You got
I'll hop in really quickly if I
Go ahead.
can. First salute to you, BTS. I appreciate it. Salute to the panel in the chat. Shout out to AL, my main man. So look, 2023 is now marks my 19th year living abroad. And when I first came into this space, I was considering to come back home because, I was looking to get married, want to see how I can, date a black woman.
Okay.
And thanks to people like you, BGS, Roger Report, and so many others, it helped me to understand the psychosis of Black American women and how they're rolling. And at the end of the day, learning that white women are better mothers to Black boys. Learning that wealth is not passed down to Black boys in America.
No.
I want to appreciate you and say thank you for giving me the message to keep my Black ass away. Right? So
where you
Can we
at,
give a
fam?
round of applause? BGS, everybody. BGS, ladies and gentlemen.
Go ahead, Hot Sauce. Keep going.
Let me finish. So I'm just going to say this. So at the end of the day, whatever Black women need to say, whether I'm weird, whether I ain't shit, or whether I'm socially awkward, whatever, I get it. Say whatever you need to say to coax yourself to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, what man of any race would procreate in that kind of condition and environment? So it's just not worth it. And I just suggest more men to get their passports. You can make a hell of a life. I live on two different continents right now. I've been away for 19 years.
Yep.
Happy and healthy. And I'll pass
Happy
the
and
mic.
healthy. Yeah, and you ain't never coming home.
You know what, Hot Sauce? You know what?
Oh, hot sauce.
You know what? Hot
Oh, go
sauce?
ahead, Charles.
I had to tell a bitch, right? She's like, well, what happened to the men that would at least pay for a $60 plate for you? I said, $60? Check. I spend more on my cigars than that. I said, I get more pleasure out of smoking a cigar than taking you on a date. I said, let me put it to you this way. When I go to my cigar place to get my beautiful LFDs,
Mhm.
double Lagardo, guess what? If I spend under $200, they must say it's a bad day, huh? And BGS already know what
Either that, you want a budget that week, or if your check didn't show, it didn't come in the mail yet.
Yeah, I remember the first video call spilt liquor. But go ahead.
No, I'm the modern day Ric Flair. I literally told a bitch who bragged about making $40,000 a year. I said, I spent more of that and spilled liquor. I said, so first and foremost, you bragging about menial shit. I can tell you what. I had my leg kicked up on the air, and I made over $100,000 with my leg in the fucking air with a fucking reconstructed ankle and foot. The fuck out of here. I said, the educational benefits are going to one of the top 3 fucking places in the world. Not the United States, but the world for executive protection and security management. The VA's paying for me. And I'm like, wait a minute. You bitches are too dumb to even be stupid. Like it's funny. It's like, you ever seen a chick? It's like Family Guy.
And,
when
and,
it
and Char- y'all can jump in any time because Charles will be at it a while. So, so
I'm
go
not
ahead,
trying to
Charles.
get taken down.
that's
No, no, sir.
My sprawling sucks.
Keep going, Charles.
That's
Don't be shy.
once again it's BGS calling the Jamaican calling the African black, but I'll keep going. You know? But it's like Family Guy when they had this clip.
Mhm.
It represents black women to me in a nutshell. You had Peter Griffin with his wife Lois, and he's sitting at the blackjack table, and he's like 18. Okay, hit me. And Lois is like, maybe you should stop right here. You're winning. No. I'm gonna keep going. Hit me, 19. Hit me, 20. Hit me, 21. Hit me. And she's just looking at him, and she just walks off in disgust. And that's how I look at black women. Like you don't even
You only
know
when you won.
winning.
Yeah.
Charles, look at it this way, because in the show it's been proven, and I remember asking a friend of mine about this. He said that Peter Griffin is actually was diagnosed in an episode as legally retarded.
Yes.
So that should come as no surprise. But then again, I mean, you want to see a better example of black women. If you remember Cleveland Brown, his late wife,
Oh, Loretta.
And
Yeah.
the
what?
dead one. And then of course, you remember he took his son, and they had a spin-off show where he goes back to his hometown of Virginia and remarries. But Loretta,
At what
I'm
point?
Mr. Cleveland.
Okay, go ahead. Who's next?
At what point did the culture shift to where every time a father was depicted on a television show, he was like a bumbling idiot?
Oh, remember back in the '80s? Remember Murphy Brown?
Yep.
Oh, Candace Bergen.
That was the shit. Remember the Family Values shit in '88, '89?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when it shifted.
I mean, that's
Oh yeah, when she was a single mother, when she was
Single
working
mother
at-
with when they made the big deal out of it. Yeah, that's when you start to see the things shift.
Career woman. She was a career
Career
woman.
woman.
who-
Yeah.
Murphy
It was a
Brown.
carry because she took the baton from, what was it, Mary Tyler Moore, was it, or Sally Jesse?
Mary Tyler Moore
Yeah.
was the single woman that was on the workplace. But
Hey, don't forget
Yeah.
Murphy Brown was actually the tipping point.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, but
Because
what
that
I'm
was the
saying
first
is like it was a build up to that when you think about it. Each show set the stage for the next show to come up and continue.
Name you probably were too little. Okay, if you were alive.
I might be, but I'm just saying the way I see it.
I remember
I understand.
Murphy Brown brand.
Are you asking me, or you want to tell me about something I lived through? Go ahead.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just giving you my perspective, but I guess I'm wrong. My apologies, sir.
You weren't alive. How you can give perspective of something you didn't see?
Netflix.
That too.
Well, I mean,
Fall back.
I'm
And-
falling back. I did fall back. That's why I apologize.
In other words,
I apologize, sir. That's why I'm falling back.
in other words, Family Values was something that was passed by Switzerland called the Swiss Family
Okay.
Code in '86, right? Okay.
Fair enough.
Murphy Brown came up in '88 and
Mhm.
88, '89, and guess what? The vice president actually talked about family values in Murphy Brown and all that kind of stuff. That was the changeover. You asked me where was the changeover? I'm telling you where the changeover was, right?
Okay.
Murphy Brown,
Now I remember
the
when that
independent.
Wait a minute. Which vice president we talking about here? We talking about Bush or we talking Quayle?
No, we talk about what's his name? It was Quayle.
Quayle. Okay.
Well,
Because you said
look-
88, 89, there was that transition. That's why.
Go back and look at I think it's Dan Quayle in Family Values in Murphy Brown.
Yes, sir.
Real famous.
I remember
Where
watching that.
where upscale upper middle class white woman was pregnant, had out of wedlock baby.
Okay.
I remember the pregnancy season, and you had all these men that were just bumbling idiots. They just
Yeah.
couldn't do
Yeah.
anything right.
I remember watching that as a kid, Murphy Brown, and that was what, CBS.
Yes.
And that
Yeah.
was like as a kid, and something about that because it just didn't seem right. Because I'll tell you, being 40, damn, I'm a month away from being 41. Fuck you. But anyway,
Old nigga.
Hey, welcome to the 40 gang.
Old
Go to
nigga.
bed, all that.
You gotta go to bed, old nigga.
I thought the pattern wrong. I'm
Ain't
experienced
that
enough
that,
to know what
brothers?
I'm doing, and I'm still young enough to do it. Woo! But anyway, it's
Hit
a
But
him,
you
fun.
feel
hit
your
him
age
with the hoop.
eventually.
Shout out to Black Jeans, old nigga.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Black King. We ain't talking
Hey,
Levi's,
welcome
nigga.
to the
We ain't
club,
talking
man.
Levi's. But it's funny because when you talk about that, right? And because I'm 40, just like Namer,
Mhm.
we went through the switch as kids. Because when I went to my private school, Mark, shout out to Mark of Excellence,
Mhm.
you didn't see a parent, you didn't see a child. It was weird to see a child with a single parent. Okay, this is how it was. I didn't see single parenting till like the fourth, fifth grade. It was weird. And then you saw that switch to be like, wait a minute, where's your parents? They're not together. And then my parents became divorced. Now,
Yeah.
when I look at when I go to, now that I'm a parent and when I go to my son's school, you don't see fathers at the school.
No, you don't.
You see the
Hey,
mothers.
real quick, Charles partner. To that point, you saw it that way when you were growing up. And I'm sorry. Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing?
Good evening.
When I was raising, when my son, my youngest son, was in elementary school, he went to school, and what he saw was single mothers, kids with different last names than their mom. And he came home to me and my wife and was like, "What's wrong with us? Why do we all have the same last name?" Because it was foreign to him, because he didn't see families. He didn't see that when he was growing up. And I tell my sons that all the time. Y'all had something that, 90% of your contemporaries would give their right arm for. You
Say it
had a
again.
two-parent household.
Say it again for the niggas in the back who did not hear you.
Yeah, yeah. Let me play this real quick. It's like 3 minutes.
Focusing on the American family, Vice President Dan Quayle had some strong comments on what he termed a poverty of values, citing Murphy Brown as an
This
example. The speech,
What?
part of a West Coast
Was that about
campaign
me?
swing, was delivered in
It
San
sounded like it, but they're
Francisco
showing
to
a
the
clip of Dan
Commonwealth
Quayle.
Club of California.
Commonwealth Club luncheon. The LA riots happened because of disintegrating family values.
It doesn't help matters when primetime TV has Murphy Brown, a character who supposedly epitomizes today's intelligent, highly paid professional woman, mocking the importance of fathers by bearing a child alone and calling it just another lifestyle choice.
Good evening and welcome to FYI. For your information tonight, we focus on a subject that has become the center of a national debate. To begin, we turn to reporter Murphy Brown.
Thank you, Jim. The American family and American values. This reporter has a unique perspective on the topic because in a recent speech, Vice President Quayle used me as an example of the poverty of values in this country and implied that I was a poor role model for our nation's youth. While some might argue that attacking my status as a single mother was nothing more than a cynical bit of election year posturing, I prefer to give the Vice President the benefit of the doubt. These are difficult times for our country, and in searching for the causes of our social ills, we could choose to blame the media, or the Congress, or an administration that's been in power for 12 years, or we could blame me. And while I will admit that my inability to balance a checkbook may have had something to do with the collapse of the savings and loan industry, I doubt that my status as a single mother has contributed all that much to the breakdown of Western civilization. But tonight's program should not be simply about blame. The Vice President says he felt it was important to open a dialogue about family values, and on that point, we agree. Unfortunately, it seems that for him, the only acceptable definition of a family is a mother, a father, and children. And in a country where millions of children grow up in non-traditional families, that definition seems painfully unfair. Perhaps it's time for the Vice President to expand his definition and recognize that whether by choice or circumstance, families come in all shapes and sizes. And ultimately, what really defines a family is commitment, caring, and love.
There we go.
With that in mind, I'd like to introduce you to some people who might not fit into the Vice President's vision of a family, but they consider themselves families nonetheless. They work, they struggle, they hope for the kind of life for their children that we all want for our children. And these are the people we should be paying attention to. Welcome to FYI. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Mary Bailey, and this is my daughter, Cameron.
Hello. And you, ma'am?
I'm Nadine, and this is my son, Manuel.
Hello. And you, sir?
I'm Jim, and this is my son, Shannon.
And you?
And I'm Julie, and this is Jacqueline.
Thank you.
All right, that's where it came from.
The black woman front and center.
You see where
Propaganda.
but
Yeah.
see, here's the bullshit about that, right? You know, I'm not an expert about families and crime, but I played one on TV.
He won 2 Emmys for it too.
Every time I see or I arrest a kid who was from the age of 16 to 25, he doesn't call for his daddy, he calls for his mama.
Oh yeah, well that's gynocracy. Yeah.
I want you to picture this. I want to paint a picture to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Majority of the people in prison now come from single mother homes. Majority of your unemployed. And shout out to my cat who thinks he's a dog, Macho Pichu. I come parking and he comes following. Such a little cat.
Don't introduce him to Winnie though.
That's a nigga cat for you. But let's look at this, right? You can pick a correlation to everything that's wrong with this country, this community, and what's wrong with the family structure from the single mother epidemic. But yet,
big facts.
Because they're too dumb to be even stupid, they won't even see the folly of being a queen without a king.
Because that's the way they've been taught. That's the way they've been taught.
And even if you're taught this shit, this tells you how lowbrow and unintelligent people are to say, you know, to do the same thing for 40, 50 years and getting the same badass results is insanity. You bitches deserve to be in a mental institution. And I like to quote the late, great, you know.
Yeah, and shorten it up because they got a whole bunch of people.
Oh, yeah, I was about to end it on this one.
Okay.
Hey, girl, sooner or later, they're going to equate being a black woman to a mental illness.
Ooh.
They're on drugs already. They're already on drugs already, so it might be already true. Anybody who's next?
Hey, can I jump in real quick?
Go ahead.
BGS?
Go ahead. Jump in.
So it's really interesting to me that you bring up Murphy Brown and Mary Tyler Moore, you know, shows like that. I was engaged to a girl. I was engaged to a young lady before I met my wife. And she actually wanted to pattern her life after Mary Tyler Moore. Now here's the thing she wanted. We dated in high school. She wanted to go to college for 4 years, go to grad school for 2 years, live on her own for 2 years, and then get married.
Okay.
I ended that really, you know, ended that smartly. I've been married to my wife for 25 years. None of my exes are in stable relationships. I wasn't a problem, but you see, this is what that type of propaganda, that type of indoctrination, that level of feminism, this is what it does to our women. And understand, she was a good woman. She just had the wrong way of thinking, and that cost her a good man that would give his life for her and everything, but she just wasn't the one, obviously, and somebody else, you know, was. And unfortunately, a lot of our women, a lot of our daughters, our sisters, they fall into that trap, and then they get years down the line, and then they're crying now because of the decisions that they've made. I've often said it. I heard it one time, and I said it like this: when you're born, you look like your parents. When you die, you look like your decisions. And I'll pass the mic on that.
Yeah, that's true. But that's the way they're teaching them now. So it is what it is. And basically, and this is not just here, man. This is all over the world. This is an effect of the environment and indoctrination. So they're having the same problems going on in Korea right now.
Oh, and my
One of
last
the
point,
most.
BGS.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, my last point. And my
Mhm.
wife is not from the U.S. My wife is from the Caribbean, so it's
Yeah,
a
it's
big
it's
Which
less.
island?
difference.
It's less, but
The Virgin
it's
Islands,
still there, but it's much less.
Oh, American or British VI?
BVI.
Yeah, it doesn't
Oh,
matter. It's all
BV. Okay, British. Oh, so she's British national. Okay.
it doesn't matter. It's all the same because them chicks over in the UK are sounding almost the same as sisters here. So.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
it's worse.
yeah.
It is worse. They are more confrontational, especially because I got partners in the UK. They tell me about, especially the Afro-Caribbean ones there. Oof.
Yeah, and the thing about living here, because I live in the Caribbean, live in the Virgin
Okay,
Islands, and I
okay,
can
that helps.
actually see the wave that is coming because it takes a while for things to reach here from the mainland. But I can actually
Mhm.
see the wave, and I can see, the work that you, BGS, are doing. Folks
Mhm.
like Dr. Johnson are doing, Dr. Curry are doing, and I can see that wave coming, and I can actually see where this place can benefit and
Yeah,
actually stave off a lot of stuff
yeah.
if they actually pay attention. But
They
as in anywhere else, you got the local politics and everything. But yes,
This is a global thing. In fact, I was just looking at some things that are going on since I saw in China. I'm going to be doing a couple of videos on that. It's a global thing. That's like a Richard Reeves and the Brookings Institute is actually in on this. It's not just here. It's globally. That's how come they had to put Andrew Tate in prison. They actually silenced him because he's causing a big disruption for what they actually want to do. They're trying to implement a new kind of indoctrination, right? But they can't do it if
Mhm.
we're shouting and screaming. They have a problem with us, but that's why.
To
But it's coming. Who's next?
BGS, to what degree would you say that, and not to take any blame away from you know the behaviors of an individual, whether it be a man or a woman, but to what degree would you say these women are victims to this? I mean, because that scene was very much deliberate, the way it
It
was.
was deliberate.
I mean, and if
When
in
you
hindsight,
when you say victims, what do you mean? Because they benefited. How are they victims?
well, I mean, they're at the end of the day, they're not benefiting.
Yes, they
It's
are.
destroying.
Oh,
It's
oh,
destroying them, but their stiff neck won't see that they're being
They're
destroyed.
destroying the structure that's built around it, right? So they have to build a new structure. The thing is, somebody's got their mic bumping. I don't know who that is. Okay, but the thing is that I don't know who it is. But the thing is that, and this is the problem. I've actually gone over this. I probably haven't done it in as much detail. Okay, feminism was supposed to put women in the place of a man, right, as a breadwinner. Unfortunately, women don't want that. And that's how come feminism is actually failing, because women don't want the position that they've been put in. So if that happens, guess what's going to happen? The whole shit is going to fall apart. Okay,
But
they're
they
not.
literally been trained to think like this. I mean, like just
They,
hindsight, looking back at like all the shows from the
and,
90s.
and so have the men. The men have been trained the exact same way. So say that they're victims? No. Okay, I wouldn't say they're victims. Okay.
Understood.
I mean, I would say you can be a victim and be basically a participant at the same time. Once you realize that you're off course, how far can you go along with the sisterhood?
As long as the sisterhood is paying you, okay? Because if it wasn't paying them and they were destitute and they were dying from this, then they would get off. They would actually get off course. A victim is doing something against their will. Okay?
Right.
No, they were indoctrinated. Okay? It's like you being in the United States. Okay? You can say that you're a victim. Actually, you're not, because you go to the third world and said, "Oh shit, I'm not as much a victim as I thought I was." Okay?
That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
mean, really, that's it. Like once you
you walk
know
in-
what you know, you can't say, "Oh, I'm a victim" anymore.
If
You're
you walk-
aware. You're an active participant. You're ingratiating yourself off of what is
Yeah.
happening.
The thing is, we can't. The thing is, they have a choice. Okay, they
Yeah.
got a choice. They put them in an elevated position. They give them money. They give them degrees. And what do? Do they act like victims, or they wave their shit over and lord their shit over you?
They're not
The black men are victims because the stuff that we fought for, that we're
we
supposed to
didn't
get in the 60s went to white women. Who's the victim? Is it them or is it us?
Black women are not victims. Are they? What? Or women in general are not victims. The problem is that they just don't like the consequences of their choices.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Exact. Or
Because like I said, I put in the chat, Marianne Slaughter said the same thing. She wrote a book about it.
Yeah.
Where women in college, they all about feminism up until the point where women have to be providers. And that's the point where feminism fails, because women in general do not want to be providers. They do not want to provide for a male that's lesser than them. And until women can get past that point, feminism is at a standstill, and that's where it's at right now. It's at a standstill.
It's collapsing because it doesn't work, especially since the government can't pay for them anymore.
It's their boss. The boss chick energy is only boss by name alone. That's what you got to understand. Like the idea of being this,
we know
this
that.
right, but they don't know that. They think
exactly.
that they know that they know at some point that there's going to be a consequence, but they're not ready to pay the cost right now.
They know.
The thing is, if you volunteer for shit, how are you a victim?
Exactly.
Nobody made you go to school. Nobody made you demand that you want a six-figure guy. Nobody demands that you have your standards. You can change them at any time. You're not a victim, okay?
How are you a victim if you only require guys that's 6 feet?
You can be ignorant, but you can't be.
But how you a
willfully
victim?
ignorance is the willful ignorance is what I'll give you.
Well, then they're not victims.
They're not.
I guess my point, and I'm not saying that they're victims, nor do I purport like a victim mentality. Me personally, in my life, I'm saying like if you propagandize a people for decades, there's going to be consequences for that. Now, a lot of them are willing participants because they have the intellect to see it and make that choice. But there's a lot of very low-level people that just absorb.
Let me ask you a question. What country, what society does not propagandize their people? Name me one. I'll wait.
Every country is the best country in the world when it's your country.
No. What society does not introduce mores and propaganda and ways of thinking into their kids and their people?
Yep.
Even small tribes. What society does not do that?
Understood.
I mean, you guys are looking for.
Now, hold on. I want to ask my question because you guys are not thinking. Okay. You are socialized to do what? Fit inside a society, are you not? How do you do that?
You have to be raised within it and their values.
Who's the first person that spits propaganda? Who's the first people that spits propaganda to you? Is it school?
Your
Society?
Should be
Your
your parents.
Hold on a second. Your parents, right?
Should be.
Okay. So saying that you've been propagandized for decades, okay, doesn't mean anything. Okay.
No.
Every country does it.
And I like to say this for the
and have women benefited from being propagandized.
And I like to say this part about the victim part. A victim is a person who is a person or a business that is the unwilling participant of a crime. Okay? When you willingly put yourself, like for example, I can't put myself in a dangerous predicament and then go, hey, deadly force, it must be thrust upon me. So these women are willing participants to their own destruction. Yes, I will agree. But victims, oh, hell no. They know what they're doing. It's so calculated that even fucking Texas Instruments are trying to trademark that shit.
I put it to you like this.
Hold on. Art first, and then who's second?
I'll be second.
No, someone has to speak in already, but who's trying to get in?
Oh, that was me.
Hello, my name's Unknown Soul.
Okay, you go after Art. Okay. Go ahead, Art.
All right, I put it to you like this. It's just like what B just said. They put the gun in the woman's hand. She had a decision to make. Does she shoot us in the back, or does she put the gun down and stand by us? She put the gun on our back.
Yeah.
So that way she can be propped up. She chose. She made a decision. I clearly do not. Our only victims in here are us as black men. because we were supposed to get that so that way we could take care of our families from the Kerner Commission, from what was supposed to give us through civil rights. Because we were the ones that couldn't take care of our families. And we went out there and marched. We went out there and died. We went out there and struggled and tried to do these coalitions so that way we could get what we had to get from this damn country. And then when they finally gave it to us, supposedly, then they want to add a sex into it. And then what did they do? They give it to white women and gave the crumbs to the black women. And then give us shit. But then manpower. So that way we can try to get trade jobs. We can try to get temporary jobs. We're the victims. Not them. Get that shit out of your head.
Yeah.
I never said they were. I asked it in the form of a question.
Yeah.
I said, to what degree do you think
They're
that they
not.
are victims of the
They're not.
propaganda?
They're
Zero.
not.
Zero.
They're beneficiaries of it. I actually proved it. What, $50,000?
Because it has destroyed them completely.
If I put a bottle of liquor in your hand, you drink a bottle of liquor every day, okay? Are you a victim?
No.
And it's going to destroy you, right?
I would actually say yes
no,
and no.
Hold on. I'm asking him. You can actually chime in right after him, right? Yes or no? Are you a victim?
No.
You're a volunteer. $50,000 a year in welfare benefits and Section 8 is actually given to black women, right? Okay. Do they benefit from it?
Yes, sir.
65% of college graduates, black college graduates, are female, propped up by this system. Are they victims of it?
Point taken.
Four out of every 5 office holders, political office holders, are female. Are they victims of it?
Well, you make a
90% of all scholarships to college are for females. Are they victims? I'm asking.
No, they're not.
No, they're not victims.
Most of the shelters are for females, right? For black females, right? They got programs for them. All right, the victims. You know what welfare is for I actually calculate this. Okay, the average woman gets what, $35,000 in benefits and welfare from the system, right? $40,000, right? Okay, that's welfare for them. What does it cost actually lock up a black man? Well, what, $40,000, right? That's welfare for you.
Try 55.
55. That's welfare for you. You get prison and you get jail. They get Section 8 and they get benefits and food stamps, stuff like that. You don't get that. Your welfare is when Officer Charles comes put them bracelets on your hand for getting out of line. If you can't make it out there, you go to jail. Okay, that's your welfare.
I want to say this part. You could give the mic to whoever. The proper terminology that you really want to use is accomplice.
Yeah.
Not victim, is accomplice. And see, people don't look at black women as an accomplice because this is they struggle so much. We got all the propaganda. See, they're the accomplice to your destruction. How many black women will tell their sons not to go to college? And that'll tell you the answer. And I retire the mic to someone else.
Oh, who's next? Somebody want to get in?
Hello.
Speak up. Okay, speak up. I can barely hear you.
Hello. One thing I'm going to add to this is just off of what he said, accomplice, it's literally going off of the term of, well, you know how most black women nowadays like to use the term zaddy, correct?
Mm-hmm.
It goes off of how, again, being sold down the river after you've been abused to such a high degree. And note, it's not trying to put any class or saying there's no victim. No, there's victims on many sides of this entire thing. But the biggest thing that comes out of it is someone had to get sold down the river. And last time I checked, it was us. Because think of this. I'm going to use one of the terms I learned recently, Stella. You know that term, right?
Not
like
really.
from the movie.
I don't think so.
Yes, Stella's got a groove back.
Okay. Yeah.
It was odd to me when I heard about this movie, but only found out recently what it was about. And getting to it, again, the term Stella refers to an older black female, again, after education, all of this, going down to the islands, finding a younger man to blow her
Mhm.
back out.
Yeah.
And again, the point is that shouldn't even be a thing. It's horrifying to know that it is, but the reason it is a thing is because the options were literally taken out of the equation.
What options are you talking about?
Well, what I'm saying is this: the option for a regular family and a proper structure, because someone
How,
should.
how was it taken out of the equation?
Well, what I mean by taking out the equation, remember, we were sold down the river. When it came down to the government check, government got their back, or
Mm-hmm.
all that
So,
stuff.
so how was it taken out of the equation? She could have refused the check. Many
Yes.
people did.
Well, again, she could have refused the check, but the point is she didn't.
And exactly. So how were the options taken off the table?
Well, what I'm getting to specifically, during slave
She,
times,
in other words, she's incentivized. Okay, we're talking about post-slavery. Okay.
yeah, well, one of the things I was going to mention that added to this was, I believe we all know the term buck breaking, correct?
Okay. What does that have?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. What does that have to do with what we're talking about now?
Well, we already talked about what's happened to males, but also what has also been done to the black female, which
Yeah.
has basically educated them to basically hate us.
No, they were never educated to hate us. Okay. This is something that's been passed down by them.
Well, what I'm speaking on specifically was when many of the younger black females were brought in as the house girls and were forced to pleasure the masters. And what was starting to be placed in their head, from what I was able to understand,
okay.
was the type of hatred. And keep in mind, this isn't just trying to.
Yes, you are. You are trying to gloss over, it, but go ahead.
No,
Okay,
well,
you are glossing over it by bringing it up.
sorry.
You are glossing over it. Okay.
No,
How many centuries does it take to get over that?
Well, it's not that there are no centuries to get over it. What ends up happening is first there's that induction over a period of time throughout the generations. Then later on, things start to shift, especially when there's an ingrained mindset. All I'm saying is there's the trauma, but then later it becomes a type of truth that they begin to believe for themselves and begin to run to the racists with it. Forgive me if I was glossing over. I'm just trying to add all the factors that go down the line.
You know, on this channel we have gone over how many books have we gone over about that?
A lot.
About 10, 12. It's including the American Slave Codes. What is it? Slavery, the left, the
Daughters of the Trade.
The other hand, Daughters of the Trade. Okay, you name it. We've gone over it. Okay. Thing is, we actually gone over what is it by called Black Women, Black Love, that actually goes over post-slavery relationship between black men and black women. We actually went over Frazier's book, the Negro Family in the United States. Okay, so what you're talking, we already know about. The thing is, how long does it take to get over it, and how long should black men wait for them to get over it?
We're not supposed to
Also,
wait.
can I just interject?
No, let him finish.
Okay.
No,
Make your point. We know the history. Make your point.
Well, the main point I'm getting to is what stage in history we are at now is understanding our freedom and understanding how bad things have been against us. Because with how bad, and again, forgive me when I was going off topic with the Stella thing, but what I was trying to refer to was how, again, black females are incentivized for college while black men, again, left aimless.
We just said that.
Yeah,
we just said it. But go ahead.
All right.
But make your point though.
Well, all I'm saying is there's a large mess that has been made when it came to this destruction of it, but we already understand we're the ones who are the victims at the end of the day.
Okay.
Well, again, forgive me. I'm just trying to add some things I ended up learning, and I'm not trying to do this so that
but you have a larger point that we're trying to get you to get to. What's your larger point? What's your end point? Okay, we know the background, know the history. Black women have never been your women. They were never brought here to be your women. Okay.
True. Yes.
Okay, and they were always rebellious against you, even after emancipation. Okay, that never changed. Okay, and like they said, they blamed you. You know, they try to put the blame on you for slavery, for not protecting them. Okay, that's been in their head. That's where the low key contempt and hatred comes from. Okay.
Yes.
Now that's there. Okay, they had a chance during civil rights to actually side with your men, put the man in position to actually lead the family. They didn't do it. They took the crumbs from the white woman, right, as a handmaid. Okay,
Yes.
and that was damn near 60 years ago. Now what?
Get your passport.
No. He wants to make a
No,
point
he has to
because
make a
I'm
point.
tired of people excusing this shit. At some
Well,
point, it's got to stop. When does it stop?
no, forget. If I was trying to sound like I was excusing it, I wasn't trying to. All I was
Okay.
just trying to specifically go towards is the trauma that's been dealt to us by the choices that have been made, because by what has happened with the breaking of the structure, and then again, I'm actually someone who suffered from a single parent household.
Break it. When you say breaking of the structure, what structure are you talking about?
Well,
Like
again, the
nuclear
idea.
family?
Hold on. I want to have to start dropping people. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well,
What
just
structure
simply
are you talking about?
Well, the simplest way to put it, the structure, how God dictated it: God over man, man over woman, woman over child.
Okay, that is the Christian. There's a Christian ethos under a certain circumstance, right? If you go back to the Jarawa tribe, it's egalitarian, right? Okay.
Yes.
How you organize people is different going from one society to the next. Okay, all
Yes.
that shifted after you became agrarian. Okay, it started becoming agrarian, especially during that phase. It shifted. So we under these ethos, under the patriarchal ethos, yeah, that was the arrangement. The social contract, going back to Rousseau in France, that they eliminated all that kind of shit, right? Your
Yes.
patriarchy and that kind of structure was slowly eroded over time. You see it all over the world now. Okay, that's we're gonna have to make a different kind of paradigm. But thing is, what's your larger point? Now that's been eroded. Now what?
Well, the larger point is, well, what's already going on now with the passport bros, and then specifically, it's gaining back the sense of power that's been taken away from us for a long period of time. Because the effects of what's been done with the broken family, or specifically the single mother epidemic, has eroded the minds of so many, to where one of the points you made earlier was when Black men get outside of the diaspora of the United States, they later see, oh, there are females who are being nice to them, and that's sad when you realize
Your black women have never been nice to you, ever,
true.
ever.
Yes, true.
Even when you're like 90% married, they've never been nice to you. Ask people about Paul sitting in a parlor by himself. Okay, go back and look at Fences. Fences was the quintessential 19 pre-civil rights family, right? Was Rose nice to Troy? No, she was not.
Nope.
He was Paw.
Yes. Again, I agree with everything. I'm just going down the line specifically of when gathering together. One of the best things that's going on right now is the diaspora of men right here, all talking about the issues and coming to conclusions. Forgive me if I was kind of going around here or there. It's just the first time talking clearly, because I've kind of had technical issues, but I'm just glad actually talking about these issues in particular.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a book to read. It's called, in fact, if you email, I actually send you the book. It's called The Negro Family of the United States by E. Franklin Frazier, which is what Moynihan based his Negro Family on that book and Clark's book, the Dark Ghetto. Okay, those two books are what Moynihan in the 1960s trying to elevate the black man actually based on. In fact, the Kerner Commission actually based on those two books. You read those two books,
I'd
you'll
love to
actually
read
know.
them because you actually just touched on one of the points. When you were talking about the Judeo-Christian structure, I wasn't going to the part about what would our structure be, since most of all of our culture has been taken away from
guess
us.
to keep you in perpetual slavery. Guess what the United States had to go against? The Judeo-Christian structure. You actually made into a matriarchy, so keep you in slavery. Product of the
I
womb.
can see that specifically when it comes down to the Catholic side of things. I just don't know about the Orthodox, though.
In other words, it's because of money. They want to keep you in perpetual slavery. The only way they could actually do that is by making the woman a matriarchy, making the family a matriarchy. They actually did that in Brazil too. So in other words, the black man was never a patriarchy in the black family. Okay,
Nope.
Not ever.
Something is that when you're bringing religion, especially Judeo-Christian values, which America has several times over said, yeah, fuck that, we're going to cheat. You got to understand, if they were so much into patriarchal structures, why would they big up feminism for the last 50 years?
Shit, not only that, Charles. A simple fact. All right, even if you look at the fucking Bible, right, in its whole totality, what does it say about slaves? If you let the slaves free, what are you supposed to do with your slaves?
How many chapter and verse, my friend?
You're supposed to give them something so that way they can survive.
Yeah.
They didn't give us anything to survive in this country.
And then when you look at it, right?
There was
Let's
the false lie that
One at a time,
you know,
one time,
100
one
acres
time.
and a mule.
One, yeah, well, you,
Well, that
you're
was
supposed
something
give
to
some kind of
survive back in the day, was it not?
but the thing is that
let's look at this.
they didn't want to free you. That's the whole problem because
Yes.
Let's
70%
look
of
at
the
the let's
GDP, 7% of the GDP of America came from slavery. If they
We
free
yeah.
weren't
you,
even
guess what?
supposed
They're
to
gonna be broke,
survive, and we did.
huh?
I remember learning from Brother Sperling, we weren't originally supposed to survive. We were supposed to die
Oh,
out of weed.
oh, yes, you were. You're supposed to survive because they're
Yeah,
making
you
money
were.
off of you.
They got you. Let me explain this. They got you for a reason.
Still in slavery.
Do you
No, you're not.
understand? No, you're not. But we're gonna tell you how much you're not. But let me explain this to you. Because of that thing called melanin, America could not fight 75%, if not 85% of their wars without you.
Are you talking
Ma-
about the Gullah Geechee?
No, I'm
We're
talking,
talking.
I'm talking about Guadalcanal and fighting against the
We're talking
Japanese
about the canal. We're talking about the Spanish-American War. We're talking about
war. Yeah.
World War II
Indian
in
Wars.
the Pacific. We're talking about the Middle East. White people don't do it. I'm not an expert in going to war, but I've done it on TV. White people don't do too good in hot climates.
And there's a whole
Yeah,
lot.
that's obvious.
Yeah,
I
there's a whole
don't know
lot
why
of
we're
things
called
like
the
that.
colored people when we're black all the way through from the beginning to the end. But whenever a white person gets hot, they turn red. When they get sick, they turn green. When they get cold, they turn blue. You see what I mean?
Go back. Daughters. Everybody should read Daughters of the Trade because she actually breaks a lot of this stuff down.
Mm-hmm.
If I could just jump in real
Jump
quick.
in. I'm gonna bring somebody
Yeah,
down. Okay, but good. You jump in.
sure.
Well, you can bring
All right,
me
so I
down.
just
Go
want
ahead. Go
to
ahead, bring me
address,
down. BTS.
Okay.
okay, what he had mentioned with, being forced. A lot of times when we think about, black women and slavery, we always have this black and white, good and evil understanding of, the sexual relationships that were happening between black women and white men.
Okay.
I think a good book, The Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl,
Mm-hmm.
it's basically is her own autobiography and how she took on a white male lover,
Mm-hmm.
right, while she was a slave. And it's like those type of pairings were common, all right? So we have this,
Like Sally Hemings.
mhm,
Yes.
all right?
Mm-hmm. Go
So
ahead.
it's like I do want that to be, in our heads that it's
If I
not
may
as
add,
clear cut as
Stephen,
like, oh, we were always forced into this situation because of a, overbearing slave master.
No, wait,
Okay.
how do you get black men to actually believe that? That's the problem. It's there. It's
well,
been there
this,
for a long time. How do you get people to actually believe it?
It's in the
well,
book. I mean,
It,
it's right there.
it's been in the books. It's been in the books for
Niggas
centuries.
don't read.
No, they don't want to believe it, even when you tell them. They don't want to believe it.
No.
if I
You
may
know,
add,
so
one of the reasons,
Hold on. Let the brother finish. Go ahead.
no. It's like that. That was the ending of that point. There was something else that I want to circle to, but y'all
Mm-hmm.
y'all go ahead.
No. You is it in your head? If not, you got the mic.
Sure. All right. So another thing is like I ran across right now, and I'm thinking that it's going to be significant, particularly for as we go forward. Is one of the things that I saw in the German news is that they're putting up, they're trying to pass friend marriage, right? And so
Friend,
pretty much
friend.
is
What
where
is
you get
friend?
the benefits. So
Oh,
the reason why
no,
I'm going to tie it back into this.
almost like common law marriage.
Yes, but it's
Okay.
like, you friendships where it's like you get the same benefits. Is that I'm thinking and I'm
the way I'm looking at it is like we're gonna see a lot more of these Spencer Covens type
Oh, okay.
situation.
Oh, yeah.
Like in Japan.
No, the thing is that that's been gay people actually broke that code 20 years ago, 25 years ago with partnerships, right? It's already in law as far as the United States is concerned. You can do that. It's called a domestic partnership of any sex. Yeah.
Mhm.
In Germany, it might be new, but the thing is, in the United States, it's about 25 to 30 years old.
Okay.
Fun
I
fact,
know
did you know that
whole
most of the
bunch of people that have done it. Good. straight and gay. Go ahead.
Fun fact, did you know that most of the alphabet community's rhetoric comes out of Germany from a good chunk of sexologists? One of them, one I can name off the top of my head, John Money, who was responsible for an experiment on two younger boys who were, one had their thing accidentally cut off, and then he was trying to re-educate him as a girl, but was also having these secret meetings with the kids doing God knows what, until one of the boys found or was told that they weren't that, but tragically both boys killed themselves. But the point I'm getting to was most of all the rhetoric you hear nowadays actually comes out of Germany.
Well, partially, but the thing is, go back and you know what? First thing when Caesar Augustus got into office as Caesar, what the first thing he did?
He made the boys cattle.
He prevented fathers from cutting the nuts off the boys, selling them off his wives.
Oh,
what?
Yes. That's how far it goes back.
What the hell is going on?
I mean, they've always had castratas and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that's
That's how far this stuff goes back. It didn't start in Germany. It goes way, way back. Okay, started with the Greeks because it was easy. Instead of carrying a whole society in a campaign for 5 years, easy to just take the boys and have them for sex and in labor and train them as soldiers. That's where it started.
Correct.
And also entertainment as well, because during the classical period, you would have, and I'll reference the Vienna Boys Choir just for the reference, but you would have a society that would take the castrate the guy so that the voice was changed, their voice wouldn't change, and they could still sing high, and it was for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah. But in other words, it's a closely kept secret, but it's not new. So all this stuff just recycles itself. In fact, they're trying to. That's what the NAMBLA laws that they're trying to implement. After all this gender fluidity, they're trying to lower the age of consent back down to 13, so NAMBLA can have access to these young boys again. But that's coming. They've been trying to get that passed for the last 40 years. The thing is,
Thank you for the education lesson on that.
Yeah. So what is it? North American Boy Love Association.
Yes, that's correct.
And in other words, they've been around for nobody talks about them, but they've been trying to get these laws passed for years. Okay, all right. Who's next? Somebody was trying to get in.
Somebody else speaking next.
It's great speaking to all of you here.
Them motherfuckers back to my Glock 22, my 300 blackout, and Glock 23.
Officially, I would say that was wrong to actually hurt anybody with something that's legal. But unofficially, they go get them, Charles. Unofficially. Okay, who else was trying to get in?
BGS. Good
Yes, sir.
evening, gentlemen. How y'all doing?
Hey, what's
up? I correct me if I'm wrong. I'm a caveat off of this question if I'm correct in thinking what I'm thinking. You said the gender war was over, correct?
Yeah.
It's been over for quite a while now, right?
Yeah.
What do you say to somebody that would be like, for instance, this is all I've been able to think about ever since. Let me think. One of them was talking. You were going back and forth with him about 5 minutes ago. What do you say that they say like the manosphere is here, not just this space right here, but the manosphere in general is using women as a proxy against something that they actually dislike and disparage against.
What is that? No, you can't talk in just unambiguous terms. What is that? Make it plain.
Let's say the proxy against black women, right? He's saying that they're victims, they have no idea what's going on. People would say, oh, this space says that the women, for the most part, are very ignorant of a lot of things, correct?
Who says that women are ignorant of what? Okay, if they're
They're
ignorant,
what
they're
he was
ignorant.
saying, like they may be, because of what we've gone through here as a people, they're
Uh-huh.
ignorant to the things, but they're willing participants, obviously, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
they've been
because of their
indoctrinated.
choice.
Okay, and you make them aware. Do they still give their privilege?
They're
You make
still
them aware.
privileged, exactly. So they're still privileged.
Yeah. So
What
in
is
other
it
words,
that,
we taught them. Kevin taught them for like 2 years. Did they give up their privilege?
no, of course not. Why would
They're
they?
not victims. Well, go ahead.
Exactly. So they're not victims. Is this
Mm-hmm.
because the gender war is over?
Mm-hmm.
This movement is now going, not movement, but this space is going to just explain and give information to Black
No,
men.
what you're trying to do is now change the environment that you're under, because women
Yes.
are no longer the actual aim. Never really was, right? It's actually
Mhm.
changed the system, so it's actually fair to boys and men. That's what it's actually trying to do now. So
I have a
our-
question.
hold on, can I finish? All right, you can
My
ask.
apologies.
When I asked like who else wants to get in, like what, 3 or 4 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. But the thing is, the reason gender war is actually over because the fight is not with your women anymore. Now
Mhm.
you need to actually educate men to still have problems with women. That's not going to stop. But as far as the warfare, you've already achieved what you wanted to achieve. The war is over.
Yeah.
Now the next war that you want to fight is different. That's legislation. That's making the laws fair. That's actually getting the monies equally distributed for men and boys, especially Black men and boys. They've been underserved for like 100 years. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the next battle. That's not a
But-
gender war. That is a political war. Okay,
Exactly.
go ahead.
So the caveat that I was adding was exactly what you were just going into is the gender war is over, moving into how to. Do you think that there's a chance to change the things that are here in this country?
Yeah, they're already changing because they have to.
Okay. Roger.
Why do you think Richard Reeves is not down here talking to the management because he likes us? Why is he
No.
doing it? He has a problem that he needs to solve, a global problem that he needs to solve. Okay, and he needs our help. So it has to change because the wave of feminism has actually gone too far. It has to change.
And it's most likely my laziness and not looking it up myself. Do you know what you know how you said that, all around the world, Caucasians are their birth to death rate is going down further and further. Within this country,
It's called the
Okay.
fertility rate. All you
Yeah,
have
the
to do is put up
fertility
the
rate.
fertility rate.
Is
Okay.
our fertility rate in this country going down?
Yes.
also?
What
I'm not talking about the
No.
Caucasian
Listen,
side.
listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What is the fertility rate to actually keep a society stable? What is it? Do you know?
It's over 2.
2.11, right?
Yeah.
What is the fertility rate of the United States?
It's like 1. What is that?
1.7.
1.7. Yeah.
Is that stable?
No.
It's going down, right? What's the fertility rate of white people right now?
Like 1.5.
1.5. Been 1.5 since 1970. Is that stable? White people used to be 80% of this country. What are they now?
Like in the 60s, low 60s.
50. In fact, I think it's 49.
Oh,
It's
wow.
49.
There's a video that I did a couple of months ago, if I'm not mistaken, where the children that's in school now, there's
Yeah.
more people. There's no, I hate this fucking term, but I'm going to use it. There's more people of color than there are white kids.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that fucking term.
It's basically colored people.
It's like
that's why I
saying
hate
colored
it.
people.
It's called admixture, which is what they plotted for. But thing is this is the crossover.
And fellas, just to clear the record, I didn't say that Black women are victims. I posed it as a question. It might have been my winter soldier chip.
It is your winter soldier
kicking
because
You know,
because
that's
you
probably
did.
what it was.
They always
That's probably what it was.
They always pose it as a question. Okay.
It was that
It's not-
1%.
I know it's not a
1%.
question.
I'm here to learn.
One time.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to build off trying to say take you out of context there, part of C. I
no
was just
worries,
saying
brother.
That's all right. It's at AMA. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it was just that was what I was wondering is gender war is over, on to the next war. The next war is
It's politics.
remember
Right?
it would be most likely getting the fertility rate up, of course, right?
The fertility rate is not our concern right now. We have
Not at
no
all.
control over that, right? It's partly the environment and partly without the women's consent, you can't get the fertility rate
Exactly.
up.
Yeah.
Okay, and this environment is not conducive. This is not something that's just here. It's all the way around the world.
Of course.
South Korea's fertility rate is 0.7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
So it's
why
not
I
it's
think,
not an American thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've watched majority of your videos, BGS. I'm tracking. It's
yeah, I
just
think
it's just
that's why.
interesting to think like what is that's 300 meter target, the fertility rate, 150 meter target, the environment.
The thing is, a society collapsing and a society declining are two different things, right? The decline you're going to see way before the collapse, and the decline is already happening in Europe, right? What do you think? What do you think they're fighting over right now? They're trying to stay relevant, but thing is, at this point, they can't get their women to have kids anymore. They eliminated abortion, trying to change the environment. They're actually paying women to have kids, not trying to pay men to inseminate women. So this lying flat, the men are actually doing is actually counterproductive to what they actually want.
And so, and then on top of that, so I know you don't enter in the white manosphere area. If you've ever heard of a channel called Martin Goldberg, he did a video on basically all of the unwedded, unmarried, not having any type of interaction with women across the world, right?
Yeah.
All these young men who have no aim, who are going further and further to the right.
Yeah,
all
we
these
talked
things.
we
Yeah.
talked about that before
Yeah.
COVID, and when it got worse to
Exactly.
COVID. We talked
Yeah.
about that. We talked about that in Latin America. We talked about that in Japan, Korea.
Yeah.
We actually talked about this
His
in
thought
Europe.
process is that it's going to move into these people, obviously, right? They're going to the right politically. They're becoming more and more nationalistic.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, the thing is, it doesn't matter whether you move right or left. What are you going to do? Go right and actually make your women into handmaids?
No, not at all.
It doesn't matter.
Think about Ukraine.
Yeah, the thing about it is that this is why the Mouse Utopia was such a great experiment.
I was just about to mention that.
Because what you're seeing now is what the Mouse Utopia called like the beautiful ones. The men
The
that
beautiful ones.
the men that are exiting society, they're staying off to themselves. They are not caring what the women are doing. They're just focusing on what they need to do. They're making themselves, whether it's what we call grooming or quote unquote working out, focusing on their own money,
Playing video games.
staying to themselves. When they go to work, they just stay home and that's it, and they just go straight back to work. That's all they fucking do.
Yeah, and it work minimal hours too. So
They're not trying to advance. They're just trying to say whatever I need to do to survive. That's all I want to do, and that's it. We are in a Mouse Utopia, Universe 25, and if they don't do something soon to try to reverse what's going on, we're going to be that last male mouse that died and said, you know what, the society is going to die. That's what they're afraid of. That's why they're trying to make the changes that they're trying to make now.
Yeah.
Did something similar happen to the Mayans? I believe was it the Mayans? How their population just dropped overnight?
There's much. The Mayans. Actually the Mayans. Mostly the Spanish actually eliminated most of them. They died of disease.
Yeah.
But there's a civilization that actually disappeared and dropped off the map because of demographics. Egypt collapsed, Greece collapsed, Rome collapsed after a certain amount of time. And there's civilization that actually collapsed because of that.
What I took away from your piece that you did on birth rates, I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like the future is African.
But they're the only one to have a positive fertility rate. In fact, they've I might, if I can find it again, I actually put it up. Where Economic Forum said they actually amended the African century some like 30 years earlier than predicted because of what's happening in Europe and happening around the world as far as the population collapse. Like I said, let's say they look at it, China's population's already peaked. Okay?
Yeah. So just as much as you have to make sure that you understand yourself as a man, you also have to understand your enemy. The enemy now is obviously the propaganda that
your competitor.
Yeah. Obviously, the propaganda now is what you all are dispensing information to young men, young boys, all those type of things. What is the? Well, yeah, that answers the question then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody next?
Yeah.
I think I found that article for you, just so you have it. Give me 2 seconds.
Huh? So what article is that?
Oh, the Africa fertility rate conversation.
Oh yeah, they've been, that's been going on for got to be 15 years. That's why. Why do you think Bill Gates was there? He was trying to convince.
He's trying to slow it down.
He's trying to slow it down. Yeah.
Well, technically, they are on a decline based on some information that I'm pulling right now from Macro Trends. Basically, they're on a 1.31%.
Will they decline fast enough
to be slowed down like the rest of the countries?
Yeah,
No.
like the rest of the world. No. They're but it's going to take them another 60 years maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the reason that we're kind of seeing this is because they're kind of untouched from the
Yeah, they
things
are.
that we exist in.
Yeah.
They just living their lives, doing the best that they can do, and it's interesting to me to see the decline of pretty much all the first world countries just falling straight off the map as far as like birth rates.
In other words, go back to your Mouse Utopia and demographics. Why do you think the Mouse Utopia experience actually lines up exactly with the 4 demographic transitions? Why do you think it lines up? Pre-industrial, industrial, post-industrial, then decline. Okay.
When children lose their value, you don't need them anymore.
You don't need
The
them.
the Mouse Utopia, in the Mouse Utopia experiment, they had everything they needed. They had housing, they had food, and they were compacted in a small space, which basically was a city.
Yeah.
And what it did was it changed the dynamics of the relationship of the mice, just like it's doing us right now. We have all the food we want. We're not struggling. We don't need children. It's more like a want. So now it's more so as far as like
It's becoming less of an imperative and more of a
you have kids if you want them.
right.
That's it. That's all the point. That's the only point to have kids now. Do you want kids or not?
It's
Yeah.
it almost went across.
One at a time.
Go ahead.
So my question is the model where the concentration of these mice a reflection of like these developing mega regions that we're seeing?
It is. Yeah.
Yes, if you look at the
Urbanization.
diagram of what he put in the Mouse Utopia universe, especially Universe 25, it is exactly resembles that of
Modern
the
urban city. Yeah.
modern urban city.
Everything is
They
right
have
at your
houses,
fingertips.
they had neighborhoods, they could go in between neighborhoods if they wanted to, but you saw certain patterns within these mice where certain behaviors started to change. Certain mating patterns. A lot of women abandoned their children in the Mouse Utopia, and some of these children died.
Yeah.
But BGS, you don't think that you're not completely doomer on this and thinking that things are just ending at all?
Ending as far as what?
Ending is everything seems to be on the downswing.
Yeah,
from,
I mean, it'll reach equilibrium. The thing is, where is it? Yeah. And can you actually do something to actually change the model? There's things that probably they can do, but the thing is, are they willing to do it?
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
at
the
what point are
nosedive.
they willing to do it? I don't think it'll collapse like that. The thing is, it will have a downswing.
You will have a lower class.
But in the meantime, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mad Max.
I think the one thing that I can throw in there is just the idea of like just what we've been seeing with the manosphere in general. Just I prescribe specifically more to the black manosphere, but the idea of the manosphere has, again, like you said, in 1.0 it was more of just the vent. 2.0 has been more of what do we do next? And I agree. 3.0 is going to be the push for legislation. Doing what everybody else has done before us as far as a group, which is basically getting laws on the books, getting things evened out and smoothed out, because you can't fix things on an uneven ground, which is where we are right now. Because But I guess my bigger question would be, will people start to catch on? Because I know that you just mentioned it a few minutes ago. Now that people are starting to come to the manosphere for things, they're starting to reach out to us to get things accomplished, because it seems like there's something going on in society that is really starting to lose out. The idea of like feminism has been diluted down to where it's just, I won't say it's diluted, but the consciousness of the conversation has been diluted. These are people just obstinate. They're not ready to have a real conversation.
And the governments are out of money. They can't do it anymore.
Right.
They can't finance
They
it
can't
anymore.
sustain these women.
All right. At some point, the women will have to step up and actually create this egalitarian society, or it's going to fail. So
Which
far,
they
haven't
can't
stepped
do.
up. Well,
They can if they wanted to.
They don't want to. So.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not that they physically or mentally cannot do it. It's just that they can't do it because the will isn't there.
Yeah. And what if the men don't want to take the deal?
We are part of that.
We're part of it. What if the men don't want that deal? They don't want to be house husband. They don't. What if they don't want the deal?
You're walking away.
They walk. Which you see all these articles about 60% of guys being single, right? Why is it? Why is it a problem? It ain't about violence, because then these guys are not packing up rifles and guns and backpacks and marching on cities. You know, they're just in their basement, not participating. That's worse than a
They're
war.
opting out. Yeah.
That's worse than a war. Yeah, that's worse than a war.
The idea is that a war, you can at least come to some type of treaty, but when you just opt out, just nope out, there's no way to really bring these people back in. It's like the hikikomori problem that Japan has, the need problem that they have.
Exactly, and which is even a bigger problem about aging and people not participating. Somebody hasn't gotten in that wants to get in.
I mean, just to speak on what Art mentioned earlier about if you want kids, you can have them. I mean, me personally, in my experience, I've wanted children my whole life. I'm 42. I don't have kids.
Okay.
And
How come you don't have kids?
I opted out. I opted out BGS.
Why?
In 2013. I just checked out.
Why did you check out? That's the answer to the question. Because I can tell you why. Because I don't have kids, and I could tell you exactly why I don't have kids.
Well, to answer your question, I could see the minefield in front of me. I'm learning from other people's mistakes. I have a lot of friends with baby mama drama on papers. This one has a felony. This one died. This happened, and he's locked up. So, like, I'm just learning from other people's mistakes, and it almost will get you to the point of just no action. Like, okay, you know what? It don't seem like how you say the juice is worth the squeeze.
It's worth the squeeze, right? That's why people getting on planes and having families elsewhere.
Yeah. I mean, that's a choice that the guys are making. A lot of these women, like, my choice in not having kids is because I didn't want my kids to be a statistic. I didn't 100%. Want my kids to be a fucking that's another just single parent trying to work it out. I didn't want that. I wanted an intact family. I wanted a wife. I wanted kids. My thing, cause I know it's kind of weird for other guys. It's just like me coming home from work, me seeing my wife, then me seeing my son in the crib, and me just reading something and just sitting there with my kid just there. That was my thing as a young man in his 20s. Now I'm about to be a fucking hoe. Fuck it.
Things fall apart.
Okay.
Anyone familiar with that book?
What's that? Yeah.
Things Fall Apart. Again, I can't remember the author off the top of my head.
Achebe? Is it Achebe?
Chinua Achebe.
Yeah.
Specifically with the structures of what was going down in the African tribes, but also what ends up happening to the breaking down of a society when everything starts to shift from new induction of ideas to just the transformation. Again, just the shifting of society. I'm not trying to go too far into it. I'm just trying to add what I know again, I've come to this side of the manosphere to learn from a lot of others who, at the end of the day, gone through this experience and can speak on it. Because for most of my life, I've not been able to. I'm a victim of a single parent household, and I was told for most of my life that my father was, basically an enemy. He slept with all these women across the states.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love my mother, but I also know she had her issues and problems, and I had to literally separate the aspect of whatever my parents went through that didn't involve me, especially with the fact.
And you had to get down to why she picked him in the first place.
Yeah, and it also adds to the fact of my own half brother, who was let's just put it simple, he didn't want me to.
So he did it. So he did it. Oh, that's from your father, or from your mother.
No, my mother. You may refer to my brother my brother because he has a different father, but I refer to him as my half brother because.
So your mother not only did it once, she did it twice. So why she picked that kind of lifestyle?
Yeah, but no.
So dad couldn't have been that bad. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and no, I'm not trying to talk bad on my mom. I'm
No,
just saying,
she's human, just like everybody else.
Yeah, but I'm just talking again. The reason I'm even here right now is because for most of my life as a Black man growing up, I never was able to talk about these issues. And over time, some of the things that one of the things I brought up when I was talking about slavery and things was when I was introduced to the movie Goodbye Uncle Tom. Which began to put a larger perspective of what's been going on, and I'm questioning why I was dealing with all this abuse growing up, from verbal to how I was viewed when I mean no harm to no one else.
Yeah, because that is the way Black women are socialized, and that's, like I said, they're Klingons, right? And abuse and disrespect are Black women's love language to Black men.
I don't think Klingon is a good term to use because we're insulting the Klingons now.
Yes, it is.
It's actually perfect. I heard a white guy. I actually playing it to a white guy. He fell out of his chair laughing because he said,
"You must not be a sci-fi nerd."
He got it.
Come on, the guy talking. That is perfect.
No. He said it's an insult to the Klingons by saying that.
Oh, yeah, that is perfect.
He got it.
That is perfect.
Anybody else want to get in that hasn't gotten in? Go ahead.
I wanted to add one of the things that I was troubled with growing up, especially with what my mom told me about my dad, was when he told me about how he slept with a variety of women across the states. And it scared me to a degree because one of the thoughts that crossed my mind as a kid was that for all I know, I might end up sleeping with my sister because of how she was framing everything.
That is the reason that Southern Black women gave the offspring of the father, whether she married to him or not, the father's last name. So there will be a check on it. So if there's anybody, in fact, I had a girlfriend who has they had a family name similar to the one that my siblings had, right? And she had to check it because she wanted to make sure that my peoples and her peoples wasn't the same.
Yeah. I ended up getting my brother's father's name, and I had never understood why, especially with everything I was being told about my dad. I only met my dad once when it was just a random encounter at a Stater Brothers when I was a kid.
Okay.
And I was with my mom, and she only then told me after the fact of when they were talking about me and all this, and I didn't know who this man was, especially with the fact he had clubbed fingers. And then when I'm trying to be nice or just sitting outside eating some lunch, my mom tells me that's my father, and I'm just left with what? Why am I being told this information now?
But this is a macho stud that sleeps with all these women around the state, huh?
Yeah, what I'm talking about is it's the typical thing that's always said to the kids when they're with keep in mind, one parent who's there could be more damaging than the one who's not.
True.
And the stereotype that's always been placed on Black men like us is that because we weren't there for the family, we ruined the entire thing. But last time I checked, it's more likely we were getting away from a bad situation.
It could be, or it could be that she's obstinate and she doesn't want that situation. He didn't do what she wanted to do, so she bounced. So there's all things you have to ask your father if he's still alive. What actually happened?
Actually, no. I had a lot of conversations with my dad, and what you said in specific to something he told me actually says enough, because there was something he specifically said that I won't name, which illustrated why he had to go. Because apparently, whatever my mom could have went through at a time. had an effect where she was almost about to do something that, let's just say, not a good move, and that's why he had
Okay.
to get out of there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot
It,
of the
it happens.
time, I mean, you ever heard the story? You ever heard the saying that it's their story, your story, and the truth?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yes.
that's what you have to do as a kid. Like when you have two parents that are separate, if you want to actually know, if you really do want to actually know what happened between both of them, you have to listen to her side, his side, and you have to make sense of it. That's the
I
only
was only
thing.
able
That's the only thing you can do as a child. That is
I was
really the
only
only
able
thing
to
you
get
can do.
Yeah.
I
Go
was
ahead.
only able to get to the side of my father after the fact of when my mom was already dead for a couple of years. And then I
Okay.
had to escape from my brother, who, again, I say it not as someone who first had a lot of anger in the situation, but I had to come to a consensus on it, which is very simple. I don't hate my brother, but I want nothing to do with him after what he put me through.
Okay. Well, yeah. You can't get along.
Yeah.
That happens.
I mean, you made your decision. You just gotta
Yeah.
be. You just gotta be good with it. That's all.
We're gonna go about 20 more minutes, guys. So if you haven't
Uh,
gotten in, want to get in, this is the time.
I also wanted to
Yeah,
say
I'm gonna
thank
drop
you for
down.
having me
Thanks for having
on.
me up.
BGS,
Uh-huh.
it's great speaking to you. I do hear a lot of your videos,
Oh, appreciate you.
which really do help with just when I couldn't understand most of anything. Because to put it simple, no one taught me crap growing up, and
Okay.
at this point in my life, I've been having to rebuild and make my life for myself on my own.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But thanks to the Most High, at least I didn't take my life or any other thing happened along the lines. There were a lot of things I ended up learning down the line after all that had happened, where there are so many roads that could have happened to me, but by God's grace, it didn't. And all at the end of the day is I'm just thankful. And I'm more thankful when I end up seeing more Black men getting together, speaking on their problems and issues and what has happened, because for so long to be silenced and mentally to physically abused, being treated like you don't have a voice, it really messes with your head.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. As far as the animus discussion been going on for years. I think I have I do believe I have a playlist about it. Some of it's on my MGTOW channel. Some of it's actually on my women's channel. So if you want to catch up on that, that's where it is. Yeah.
Thank you. Again, I'd like to get more information because, again, I'm just trying to go with an aspect of mental fortitude. Because by being 26, I may have not been out there with a female yet, but I want to understand what's going on around me so I can understand the key signs and not allow myself, in a sense, to be destroyed by the courts. Don't get me wrong. Your heart gets messed with no matter what. But how I should put it, I believe when you start taking care of yourself in the right ways, combined with exercise, diet, all that stuff, all that matters is you can get over the feeling pain, but to have the physical pain from what could be happen to you with half of everything you have taken, your children taken away from you, or even worse when it comes down to just a singular lie that does not hold any truth. Knowing the court system is stacked against you, you end up being thrown in jail for the rest of your life because of literal BS that is unfounded.
Yep. All right. Anybody else want to get in?
Just to kind of switch the mood a little bit, BTS.
Okay.
No,
Go ahead. No, go
like
ahead.
as far as I'm sure you've heard of the Michael B. Jordan, story with with him being corny. If he's corny, I mean, damn, there's no hope for anybody.
Well, he's not corny now. The thing is that
Same thing about Donald Glover.
yeah.
Well, isn't it the same
But there
idea?
are women who would
one
say
time.
that he.
Yeah.
There are women who would consider a man like him, like, I mean, dude's handsome, accomplished, all of that, but he doesn't carry himself like in a certain
He
way.
doesn't carry like the typical black man that fits their image, which is the 90s black man, the tatted up thug like swag, semi drug dealer, scammer dude. Yeah.
Right.
What
It's
you
the
have to-
educated lame, isn't it?
What you have to understand is that
The thing is, well, pretty much Kevin actually ended all that with the high value man. So they're left with corny. But the thing is, at this point, okay, if a woman calls you corny, that means you need to leave them and her group behind. Okay, because they don't fit.
You just said one of the archetypes of what's been going on now with a lot of the successful ones out there, for some reason going for the prison thuggo while he's still in prison.
That is part A lot of that is I actually said that they actually want compromised black males that they can
Yeah.
actually control.
Yeah, because they know that they can't say no.
They can't say no, and then once they come in, once they get in a good position, a woman can actually send them back to prison, and they have.
They got a
Oh.
PS4 with internet now.
Well, there is another part to that. Just to throw
Go ahead.
in, they know that for the ones that are still in prison that aren't
Mhm.
getting out anytime soon,
hmm
they basically deem them as safe because
They are.
they don't
It-
have any real power in the real world.
I got it
And-
right where I want them.
In other words, what is more dear to women, especially black women, than sex? Attention. Well, control, but also attention. That's safe. I can get my emotional attention from a guy that says he loves me, without him being physical with me.
Right.
Which is more
She
important.
she can't be disappointed. She can't be angry.
Right.
Because of any type of,
She knows where you're at all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He does.
Well, I mean, she knows that supper's at 10.
And if she marries you, she can come once a month and have sex.
Yep. Once a month conjugal visits.
Mm-hmm. That's perfect for her. It's not in my house. I get all the emotional support that I need, and come once a month and have sex.
That is the
All I have
only
to
way
do
that a black
I have to
woman
do is put a little money on his books every now and then.
that is the only way a black woman be happy with a white man in control of a black man.
Damn.
Yeah.
Hey.
If you look, if Charles can tell you, he's a cop. Most of the black men that black women like are compromised, and they keep them compromised.
Yep. I mean, technically, it's the idea of the thug image with the that was the husband-son archetype, where you can send them away at any time.
Yeah. Yeah. That is the matriarchy in action.
Before I go, BGS, do you have any just advice? Because again, I'm 26. I know I
Okay.
haven't been out there yet, but any advice for just a young black man making his way out there right now? Because it's been a rough road.
Okay. First of all, you need to figure out who you are, right? Second thing you need to do is figure out what kind of skills do you carry. Where do you want to be? What do you want to do? Okay. In other words, if you're not making money, do you want to make money? Okay. What kind of life do you want to have? Okay. What do you value? Because you between now and 30 years, you figure out who you actually really are. That's what you're trying to figure out. Okay. So what is that? Okay. What is that? I would read, first of all, I would start with the 4 agreements.
Okay.
Okay. Then I would read, if I were you, I would read The Alchemist, which is by Pablo
It's
Coelho.
crazy you said that. I had a copy of that book, but due to a lot of the circumstances when I had to do an escape, a copy of that book vanished, and I don't know
Okay.
where it is.
Should be able to find it online. The Alchemist. What else? I would read. You want to understand women from the ground up? I would read 2 books. I'd read The Alchemy of Love and Lust, and I would read the Lucifer Principle.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. There was actually a song done by a man known as Saint Dumas called "The Reprisal," and it was a message to black men about what they're going through. If you ever get a chance to look into it, and it was something that I just stumbled upon once when I was just roaming around on the internet, and it was something that always stuck with me.
Now I could hear someone maybe giving advice to a young man to maybe who's had a hard past to maybe go and look into therapy. I mean, that's something that
Well, luckily
Kevin
I'm
Samuels
already
push a
in.
lot.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
I guess my question with that would be me. I'm apprehensive to like engage in any of that because I don't really trust a lot of these people with the DR in front of their name
Don't.
because a lot of them are just spitting like craziness right now. You'll have a doctor out there coaching kids to change their gender, so it's like you're gonna go lay on somebody's couch and start saying, and then are you letting these people in your head who is actually qualified to even speak to you on a level?
The hardest thing to find is a black therapist, a black male therapist. Okay, find a black male therapist. At least you have a shot. Second thing is that there's actually a very good series on my channel. It's called Getting Over Difficult Emotions. Section in the playlist. Is Vipassana meditation. That's key. Start with that.
Yes, sir.
Start meditating. Start knowing who you are.
Well, thank
The
you
other
again.
books will
I've
help.
been moving along on a good road, especially when I've been developing my skills in dining and cuisine. I've been working a variety of jobs. Combined with other aspirations, I would want to get into the animation and gaming industry. These are just some of my personal interests.
Okay. Yep.
But again, the biggest thing that helps is when most of my life I never really had a good view of not just black men, but even myself, because the point is when you're growing up in that diaspora of what you're being told about your dad, the thought still comes to mind, you're half of him. One of the problems I struggled with growing up was when my mom was telling me my dad was the sexual deviant. What does that make me? It began to make me feel ashamed of who I am as a man, especially when I'm going through puberty. I'm glad I didn't do anything as I was going through high school and I got my diploma and all those things, combined with some college I've done, because with all that's been going on now, just one false move, if you're looking for a good night, could end up screwing you over for the rest of your life.
If you, I would suggest if it's a bit of a chance. If you want to accelerate your growth as far as that between male and female, find you an older woman in her 40s, okay, that's safe. You can't have any kids. That vibes with you. That will actually accelerate your growth.
And also,
then you can actually learn from a mature woman. Yeah,
and also too, when it comes to women, or especially your mother, man. If you got one of those mothers that say like everything you got bad, everything that you've done bad in your life, you got it from your father. You have to understand, it's like.
Well, she never said that to me.
No,
one time. So where'd you hear it?
Well, specifically what I heard growing up is when I would try to ask on things about my dad, what was implied, especially from what I'm getting from her and my half brother, was saying all these things about how my dad was a horrible man.
Was your brother older or younger?
Older than me, and let me make it clear. I later learned from my mom that my brother really wished I wasn't even born.
Oh, okay. So you got a whole lot of crazy dynamics that actually stirred in.
Well, the only thing I'm glad about is that I'm 26, but thanks to a lot of good things that have been going on in my life, I've been able to make peace with a lot of issues combined with, when I had the chance, I actually spoke with my dad and forgave him for not being in my life, even though I had no animosity. But in truth, that actually let a weight that was sitting on me, I didn't even know I had, go, and I felt a lot more freer than I ever did.
Yeah, because now you at least have an idea who your dad is and why he left and why he's not with you. So
I didn't have anger or animosity. I just was on the part of whatever my mom was telling me growing up, especially with how I was being put in a bit of a corner, the kind of coddled position most black boys are put into. It was just the essence of, I hope my mom gets this, that, but it also didn't help with the amount of Tyler Perry movies my mom was watching.
Your dad was supposed to rescue your mom because your brother was actually born first. She already had a kid. He was supposed to rescue her from her poverty. He didn't. That's why she's angry.
Again, some of the things I've learned, especially with a lot of the places I went, a good example was Jesse Lee Peterson speaking on the fact of forgiving your father and letting that go, because if you don't, you begin to start becoming an incarnation of your mother.
And the biggest thing what you're going to learn when you get 30 in your 30s is actually forgiving your mother, because you haven't done that yet.
Well, I do forgive her.
No, you haven't. You haven't. You haven't.
It takes a minute.
You haven't. You're still wrestling with it. When you forgive your mom and actually see her as a woman and not your mother, you're forgiving her. You haven't gotten there yet.
Because I think we just said it one time. It's like you have to look at your mother as just a woman that your dad deal with.
Yeah.
Like I said before, it was one of the things that when I began to separate myself, especially when I saw the court tape of when they were fighting over custody rights, and my dad said he didn't want anything to do with me, and I didn't understand what was going on right there. I had to understand this was their problem. It had nothing to do with me.
It had nothing to do with you, and it had more to do with your mother than it had to do with you. So, but anyway, you'll get that together, man. The thing is, The thing is, we haven't forgiven your mother yet, and that takes a minute.
I'm
That takes a
just
minute. You won't be able to do that till you're 30.
You might understand, but you haven't forgiven.
You haven't forgiven it. Yeah. Anybody else getting ready to like 5 minutes?
again, thank you.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's what we're here for.
We might need to go through that Mohan conference, BGS. I know I've
Okay.
said it to you before, but I mean,
Yeah.
it might be good for us to go through it.
Okay.
I'll hit you up on the back end just to try to figure out like a time.
Okay.
And date.
Yeah, because a lot of that stuff is still with us. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. In fact, the part where black boys were never supposed to be educated, still with us. Yeah.
When is your you have free time? If you do have free time.
Ooh, it'd have to be next week because this week is going to be busy. So.
Okay.
So just let me know because you have to work around your schedule because you're actually a working person. So
Yeah, I know.
when are your days? When are your days off?
Actually, they gave me the weekend off.
Oh, the weekends. Oh, this weekend?
Yeah, this weekend off.
Okay.
Because I'm going through training.
How'd that
right
happen?
now.
How'd that happen? Okay, training. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going through training, and I'm also they like me, so
okay.
I'm special.
Hey, you're the doughboy.
Get it?
How can they not?
Exactly.
Anybody else? Closing thoughts, folks? Because I'm getting ready to.
BGS, I appreciate you having me on your panel, man. I've been, absorbing a lot of your content and learning
Appreciate
a lot, and it's awesome to be here and share with the brothers and just take part in another classic.
Yeah. Well, yeah. you guys make it that way. It's not me. It's you guys that actually make it a classic.
Mm-hmm.
I will admit, one of the things you mentioned on forgiving my mom, I will admit there were times when I would think about some of the things I went through and what I was told, what to do, what not to do, and just being put in a bubble most of the time. I did have a lot of anger and animosity when I would think about those thoughts. But most of the time when I'd have to calm myself, I'd have to separate the aspect of what I was being told to what was going on in the head of that person at the time. So again, I see what you mean on forgiving around 30.
Yeah. You haven't forgiven her yet. I can hear it. But it takes a minute. So, you got to work on yourself. It'll come.
Yeah.
In fact, go to that series, that playlist, Difficult Emotions, and go through the series. It'll actually help.
All right.
I'm trying to get my kids to go through it right now.
All right. Thanks
It's
again.
slow, it's boring, but the thing is, if you stick with it, it'll actually help.
Yep.
Thanks again.
All right. Anybody else? Closing thoughts?
Bueller?
All right, folks. If nothing else, man, I'll see you guys. I'm probably going to try to do a behind the wall on Sunday if I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
I'm going to try to do a BGS for women on Friday. This Friday. I couldn't do it last Friday because they had to do a thing with Ram. So I'll try it this Friday. If it's not Ashley, I probably will ask Toya. Actually, be my right shotgun for me.
Okay.
But with that, folks, I'm gonna bounce out. It's supposed to be short anyway, so.
God bless you all.
Yeah, y'all be well, and I'll see you guys next time.
Oh, one last thing.
Go ahead.
Biden's tax raises. Do you think he's really just going to raise taxes on?
He's got it ready to raise it across the board. He's actually started a conflict that's going to have worldwide effects. It's already having worldwide effects. Okay, now you're in the life raft. He's got to raise taxes. Probably doesn't have a choice.
Well, we'll talk about that behind the wall. We'll talk
about that behind the wall. Yeah. But yeah, the interest rates and taxes probably will go up. So just get ready. And layoffs are coming. Still coming.
Oh, and also, what are your thoughts on what might happen along the lines of this passport bros thing? What are going to be some of the obstacles that are going to be coming ahead for most black men out there?
It's really the only obstacles to passport bros is one, can you travel? Can you afford to travel? And two, if you can't travel and can't stay away, can you make a living where you are? Those are obstacles.
It's just I hope to do that one day myself.
Well, the thing is that those are obstacles. Can you transfer your salary and your money to someplace else? That's always the trick.
And I've been concerned, especially when it comes down to all of the infighting that's gone on from when a lot of the American women started acting up, then the Filipinas, then some Chinese and
Oh yeah.
Japanese, if I'm correct, and then I'm questioning: is this going to
It,
start to reach some
no,
levels
it,
of
it, it, it,
danger?
it, it has to reach. It has to reach. It has to bring the awareness up because you're trying to wake the men up. The women, financially, women are not going to change. They're going to be the same place. In other words, if you have resources and skills to bring to a female, she's going to take it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of women overseas that's talking mad shit about black women right now.
About black women, we gonna take all. We gonna take chase them. We gonna take them all.
Mhm, that's exactly what they're saying. And it's funny to me, boy.
Yeah. It's funny because you don't want them, we'll take them.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. And once you get over there, they're not, hell, they're better than our men. That's what they're finding out. So it's bump these chicks. So, but yeah, but that's just part of it. But anyhow, let me jump off of you, y'all.
Yeah. Go to sleep over there.
All right. All right, y'all. Peace out.
Peace.
Peace out.